Thanks for joining me for Wilderness with Amani. Today I'm going to be hiking the Fisherman's Trail to the back of Lake Sabrina, and we're going to go try to get back to that creek inlet and see if we can catch some nice trout. So let's see how it goes. So I'd give you a nice shot of the back of the mountains before we head up. This is where they rent boats and everything. When the lake is low, it doesn't even, this whole area is empty and you got to get to the back. But we got a lot of snow and rain this year, so we have a lot of water. So if you are trying to get to the back of the lake, this is where the trail is. It's kind of inconspicuous, so there's probably a lot of people that don't really go back here. So you're just going to want to go for the dumpster. And the trail is well defined. There we go. And it goes right past the main building. And you're going to keep going. You're going to get past this really stinky fish cleaning station. A lot of people come here, but the nice thing is this fishing trail gets you to the back of the lake, and it allows you to fish without the massive crowds that usually flock here in the summertime. So this fishing trail looks a little like a backpacking trail because it's just rugged terrain back here. The sun's hitting those peaks in the morning, and if you take this trail, rather than fish at the front with the scores of people, you can pretty much find a spot down along the lake by using this trail where you can fish by yourself, which is nice. If you can get a quarter or a half mile away from the parking lot, almost anywhere you go, you can usually weed out a lot of people. So if you can just get on this trail, this is where you want to go, because you can catch rainbows, browns, anywhere in this lake. I just like to go farther and get away from the people. But the nice thing about the river in the back of this lake is there's a nice population of wild fish in there that bred naturally in there, as well as some nice hatchery fish that make their way up in there to spawn. So it can be a really good time. Just know that this trail's got some challenging sections on it, and then when you get up to where these rock slides are, you're gonna see it can be a little bit of a challenge to get across. So I haven't been to the back of this lake in a bunch of years because I usually just take my boat back there. I just wanted to show this trail before I drive home from my backpacking trip. So as you can see, this trail has its little good stuff, and we're getting there. We're about a quarter of the way back. And like I said, now this is where you can start breaking off the trail. If you don't want to go all the way to the back, you can catch all the fish you want. Go to my rigging for reservoir trout beginner clip. Use that slip sinker rig, and you can just go chill right down there. You can just sit and cast a spinner, some sort of spinner, or a panther martin. A Rapala. There's rainbows in here, and there's browns in here, and there's big fish in here. I don't have my long handle net because I wasn't preparing to do this hike, but hopefully if I catch something big, I'll be able to land it. Because that's what I'm looking for. So as you can see, there's tons of spots. There's that point down there you can go out and fish. You could just go right down over these boulders. In the fall, as I said before, all of these aspen trees are just bright orange and yellow and reds. It's just unbelievable here, the scenery. and it's a really beautiful lake. It just gets a lot of people. This is a place I recommend coming in late September, October. There's less crowds. It's a Tuesday today, so it shouldn't be too crazy. But there's tons of places where you can find your own little niche in the rocks, and you can pretty much be alone all day if you want to be. So this is a good access trail. So when the water's high enough, like it is now, the lake looks like it's full to capacity. Once you get to the halfway point to the back of the lake, there's this island or this peninsula that sticks out, and there's probably 20 good fishing spots that you could just walk down onto this little peninsula. So if you don't want to go all the way to the back, because it gets there's a little bit of a challenging zone to get through when you get back there, you could just break off of the trail right here at the halfway point, and then this trail goes down right here, and this gives you a chance you can go down there and just walk that whole peninsula with a Rapala or a spinner and cast out or fly cast or do whatever you're doing, or just find some shade because there's some trees here. You can find a little shady spot and you can just chill all day and not be baked in the cooking sun. So that's a good opportunity. I would recommend it. Not a big fan of just sitting in the sun and baking. You can fish off the dam and not walk, but to me it's worth walking to find this little peninsula that has all of these trees where you can break off from fishing for a little bit, and you can see there's trails that come off of here. This is the second little trail that comes off of the main trail, and you can just kick back and fish all day out there on that little. So there's our destination at the back of the lake. Here's where the trail starts getting a little dicey. You got to walk over all these big boulders. They have a little bit of a trail flattened out here, so you can kind of make your way across it, and you can get across this stuff in varying degrees of difficulty. But there's that little island at the edge of that peninsula. You could easily just go right down there and have a great day of fishing too. I just want to try to see what that inlet looks like back there. Not sure. I would like to get to the middle on the other side of the inlet, but I'm not sure if the river's going to allow me to cross. It's just one of those things where I got to see because the water's high. Here's some rocks for you. So when I'm fishing in these mountain reservoirs that have a lot of these boulders, there's boulders that extend out far into the water. I like to use 6-pound test, because if you go with the 4-pound when you're trying to fish over these rocks, you're gonna get sawed off on a lot of good sized fish because that 4-pound test just isn't durable enough. And I catch plenty of fish. You can also just do 6-pound test, and then when you get to the barrel swivel, tie on a 4-pound leader if you're worried about the fish seeing it. But I catch plenty of fish with 6-pound test, top to bottom, and you're gonna lose less fish, especially if you get something big and it's pulling you down in these boulders. You're gonna, the second you hook something big and you got 4-pound test, you're gonna start worrying about the rocks. I worry about the rocks with 6-pound test. So I would recommend, if you're gonna come out here and you're gonna do some reservoir trout fishing, to go ahead and just skip the 4-pound. I got 4-pound because I was fishing up at Tye Lakes for the last couple days, and when I'm fishing in alpine lakes, I like to use 4-pound test. But if you're gonna come up to a lake like this, you definitely want to break out the 6-pound, and that's what I would recommend you do. See, with a light pack, this isn't too bad. If I had a really heavy pack on right now, if I was backpacking, going over this would be a little dicey because it's sometimes hard to keep your balance. But with this my light fishing pack, I can just fire over this stuff pretty good. Just got to make sure you don't break your leg. They've done a really good job. It's hard to see. They've done a good job of flattening out a course through this huge heavy talus that goes all the way down to the water. I mean, there's some nice fishing spots right down there. if you don't want to battle through this craziness. Me, I'm gonna do a little battle for a little bit longer. I made it past the challenging talus, the boulder field, and we're up above the lake now. Now during drought years, the lake is way down there, but it's right there. I wouldn't advise trying to get down that. That right there looks like a recipe for an emergency room. I mean, you could make it, I guess, but I don't think fishing there is any better than fishing right over there where you could easily get down on that peninsula that I was talking about that you can get out on. So, but now I'm kind of smooth sailing. There's another look at the back of the lake as the morning sun goes. But I'm basically just on the trails cut in the middle of this very steep grade. The farther you get back, the less maintained the trail is going to be. I'm assuming that I'm going to have a hard time getting through a thick patch of aspens back there, but we'll just see. Right now I'm just speculating without any frame of reference because I haven't been back here in over a decade on this trail. I was going to do this in my boat, and I was just going to take my boat along and point out the trail, but I wasn't planning. But I figure hiking it is the best way to actually show you the challenges that you face by taking this trail. So that's what we're going to do. So here we go. That's a long way down. That's a good fishing spot right there because there's no big boulders for big fish to saw you off on. Just getting down this talus is a chore. I've done it before when the lake was this high years ago, and I just remember you just got to really take your time if you're going to try to get down something like this to get to the water, because you could snap your ankle, snap your leg real easy. But if you take your time and make it down there, you'd have shade, you'd have water without large boulders to have to cast over and land your fish over, and you'd have a wide open spot to fish. That's what makes this spot so appealing to someone like me. There's that peninsula, we're back. There's the back of the lake, so that's how far you have to go. As you can see, I'm getting ready to run into some really sketchy stuff. But this is a good spot if you're willing to. I mean, we're just basically in the middle of a big rock talus. There's up and there's down. But it's something that you may want to look at if you figure, you know what, I'm done with this trail. This would be a good place to stop. So I have my fly rod ready to go. And now I'm facing this aspen, this stretch of aspens where I am really doubting my decision to have my fly rod ready to go, because I pretty much almost need a machete to get through this. I'm holding my pole straight up and down, and I'm just gonna try to weave through this stuff, but man, this is not maintained at all. So if you are smart, unlike me, you will have your pole packed up and you'll get through this stuff a lot easier, because I'm gonna have to battle to get through this crap. So I'm gonna take a break here. This is a nice little spot right next to the water where I can have a little drink of water, rest. As you see, that's where I came from and that's where I'm going. You're gonna see spots when you're going through this where it looks like you might be able to get up and around it. Don't fall for it. It's a trap. I'm telling you, just stick to the trail, and no matter how ugly it looks, stick to the trail, because everything else is a false choice. It looks good. It looks like there's a lot of frosting on that cake, but underneath the cake, it's made of sawdust, because you're just going to run into an impossible route. So stick to the trail, trust the trail, and just, you want to be as streamlined as you can be. Like when I'm hiking back out of here, the camera's going to be in my pack. This backpacking fly rod's going to be broken down in my pack, and my spinning rod is smartly just strapped onto my backpack. So when you're doing this, just understand, if you're going to go to the back of the lake, you're going to have to go through an absolute forest of trees, and you're going to be fighting through it. So you just think about that when you start, so that you don't have anything sticking off of you, hanging off of you. You want to be as compact and as streamlined as possible. I'm saying that because I'm regretting I'm regretting what I'm doing in coming through here with this fly rod out, and I almost want to break it down and stuff it in my pack right now. Sabrina's not giving up the back of the lake without a challenge. I'm now crouched down walking through tunnels of trees. And even my spinning rod on my pack is snapping back and whipping me on the top of my head when I'm hitting these brush. But if you're staying in a campground and you want to just get away from everybody, this is the sort of thing that weeds out the crowds. Not everybody's going to go through this, but it's not too difficult. You know, you get back here in 45 minutes, no problem. You know, to start early in the morning, stick to the trail. And as you can see, you're just, when I'm coming back through this, when I have everything tucked securely in my pack, this isn't going to be so hard, because then you can just put your head down and break right through this stuff. Just wear a hat so the top of your head doesn't get scratched, and you can just go right through this like a bullet. But I'm almost back there. I can hear the river rushing, so I don't know what to expect, but just wow. So I'm hoping, okay, there's the trail right there. I thought for a second I was cut off. So there's the back of the lake. I'm almost there. So I'm just about there. I just have to get through. I just have to get through some jungle. Where's the wild animals? There's definitely jungle.